走り出せ走り出せ空高く鳩と差し
Hi guys, it's Wasabi Fold here again with part 3 of my Invading Mariejoa theory series. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2, go and check them out. The links will be in the description, and there is also a playlist for this specific theory series on my channel. In those two parts, I do set the stage for a lot of the reasonings and events that could occur that would lead to the Straw Hats invading Mariejoa. So go and check those out. Let's just get straight into it. In part 3, I'm going to be outlining who the antagonists are in this arc and what their specific roles are going to be. Now, first of all, the first antagonist that I think everyone would expect in a Reverie Invade Mariejoa arc is Cypher Pole Aegis 0. Aegis is a reference to the mythical shroud that Athena, the Greek god of wisdom, had that was supposed to protect her. So CP Aegis 0 is basically already being linked to this kind of protection of God itself, protection of the celestial dragons. And I believe that Oda is setting up, with all this Reverie talk, since before Fishman Island, he's setting up the idea of Cypher Pole being responsible for the protection of God, and that invading Mariejoa will almost be like an affront to God itself, a biblical event, if you will. I believe the Cypher Pole will be used in much the same way that CP9 and Enos Lobby were used, in that they will provide 1v1 individual fights for all the members of the Straw Hat crew. I believe that the Reverie arc will be the culmination of all the developments that they will make over the next few years in this Pirate Alliance saga and taking down the Yonko Kaido. I believe it will be the culmination of everything that the Straw Hats have been trying to prove since the time skip started, and that is that they're ready to become a Yonko. And all of the crew members are going to have to step up and take on some really strong opponents. Now, I do think that Luffy will have ascended past that level by the time he reaches this Reverie arc. He would have had to. I don't think Cypher Poles are going to be the ones that are going to be taking him down. I think Luffy has to be in the range of characters that you can only call an admiral to deal with, or an extremely strong vice admiral to deal with. And I think that Luffy will be in that tier when he invades Mariejoa, because in this arc he will fight an admiral for the first time, or should I say an admiral level opponent for the first time in 1v1 combat, and have to win. Either have to win or have to draw. Now, that admiral, I think, will be either one of two choices. Admiral Green Bull is the first one that comes to mind. I think everyone can say, it's a new admiral. Admiral Green Bull is not like Fujitora, wasn't drafted from the outside, but instead was ascended through the ranks in response to Aokiji leaving and Kainu's promotion. Admiral Green Bull could be given the opportunity to be introduced in another invading, attacking the Marine kind of arc, similar to how Akainu was introduced during Marine Ford. However, because I think that Luffy will defeat an admiral in this arc, hopefully, it would actually kind of do Admiral Green Bull a disservice as far as going forward in this series if he or she, I'm hoping for she, is defeated in the very first arc they're introduced in. So unless Luffy's goal in this arc is to tie or draw with an admiral and not actually beat one, I think that another antagonist could actually be used instead of Green Bull. But it all depends on how Oda views the World Government Commander-in-Chief, Kong. Now, I mentioned Kong because I know it is expected that Kong will be the end of series antagonist. However, we have seen, and one of the main themes of this entire post-time skip era is that there is this changing of the guard going on in the One Piece story, both in the Marine side as well as the pirate side. And Kong, as we know, was an admiral all the way back when Kizaru was a vice admiral, back during the Sun Pirate flashback. However, in my opinion, this also brings up the question is, how does Oda view Kong? Does he view Kong as this super strong end of series antagonist? Or does he view Kong kind of like Garp and Sengoku as being remnants of a bygone era? People who are from the past more so than of the present age. And I think Oda could actually realistically sell that, because Kong has gray hair, he's this old dude. He could realistically sell Luffy defeating someone like Kong opening up the position for other admirals in the Marines to reach higher heights, such as Akainu. I mean, Akainu being World Government Commander-in-Chief by the end of the series is much more prominent a position than being Fleet Admiral. I mean, that would actually make a lot of sense for Luffy to take down the World Government Commander-in-Chief. So in my opinion, at the end of the series, Oda could easily get rid of Kong now at this Reverie arc and still have an antagonist in the form of Akainu who is still set up and built up to be this very personal, very strong opponent for a Pirate King Luffy at the end of the series. So that is, in my opinion, a possibility, and I think a stronger possibility. So I'm actually willing to bet that Kong, being the World Government Commander-in-Chief, will also be kind of like the leader of CP0 in a way, or at least maybe he has some hand in picking them. And I think Kong might end up being the opponent Luffy beats. You can also sell the idea that Kong may be past his prime and a little bit older and not as strong as he used to be, and have Luffy defeat an admiral outright, but still not quite be as strong as like the prime admirals like Akainu and whatnot. So I don't think Akainu will be in this arc. I don't think Kizaru will be in this arc. I think those guys are destined to be end of series antagonists, but I do think that there are some other opponents that could also appear. So that's enough on Luffy's opponents and the Straw Hats opponents. Sanji in particular, I think, needs some special focus among the Straw Hats, and this brings me back to the Vinsmoke family. I still believe that the Blonde Gorosei is Sanji's father, but I also believe that because Vinsmokes are assassins, even if Sanji's father is not the Blonde Gorosei, there exists a high probability that Vinsmoke family members could be recruited by the world government, considering how much pull they have within the world government to be members of Cypher 40. I would not be surprised if Sanji's oldest brother is the leader of Cypher 40 and the strongest member of Cypher 40. And I would not be surprised if Sanji actually is the one who fights his oldest brother, the member of Cypher 40, who, you know, could be hyped up to be as strong as a really strong Vice Admiral. I'm saying that the Vinsmokes themselves could be antagonists in this Reverie arc. I don't expect Oda to use the Vinsmokes all the way that he's been building them up as this mythical royal family from hundreds of years ago who had control over all of North Blue. I think Oda's building these guys up as big antagonists that will be antagonists not just for this whole K Island arc, but moving forward for the rest of the story. I think they're going to have some very big ties to a lot of different organizations, and I believe that it is not out of the realm of possibility that Sanji could get a fight against one of the Vinsmokes in his family, someone in the Cypher 40 being actual member of the Vinsmokes. I think is very probable as well. So those are really my thoughts as to who the antagonist in the story will be. The next part of the series will be explaining why Luffy will be a Yonko after this part of the series. Alright, thanks for watching. It was Sabi Fold signing out.